You're listening to the MLS Fantasy Insider, bringing you weekly tips, tricks, and advice for the official MLS Fantasy game.
Hello everyone, and welcome to the MLS Fantasy Insider. I'm your host, Reid Connolly, and I am playing with the audio today because, yes, contrary to what people may believe, I do read the comments, and we had so many comments this past week. Oh my goodness. Let's see here. Let me get out the social real quick on the Twitter X Blue Skies. Got that there. Trying to talk a little bit louder. I hope it helps. Don't worry, I'm just waiting for Gene to say the thing. We'll see if he joins. If he doesn't, I'll do the thing. No worries. Let's see here. Okay, there is that on Twitter X Blue Sky. Click. All right. Sorry, Gene. You're not here. Oh, wait, there he is. Good job.
Recording in progress.
Bam, there we go. That's for Gene. That is always for Gene. Let me copy that URL. Go over to Discord. Discord was hopping today. Everybody. Absolutely nuts over at the Discord. Okay. Announcements. I swear I think Christian moves these things every now and then just so I can't find them. That's what I think. Oh, week 2 preview. No, not 12. 2 preview episode. Control, paste, publish. And I'm pretty sure this might hit everybody, but it is what it is. Intentional. Everyone. Post that time. I put a post out in Reddit, not Reddit. I put a post out in Discord asking people about some of the questions that people are looking for tonight. And so if you are here in chat with us right now, welcome. Thank you so much for joining. If you have any questions that you want to have us talk during this first part of the show, we will be giving some of the round one insights that we have right now, but I'd also like to talk about any of the questions that people have that they'd like for us to touch on at the start of the show. So go ahead, post those in chat, and we will get everything started. If you are joining us for the first time, welcome to the MLS Fantasy Insider. Thank you so much for joining us as we're kicking off this 2026 MLS Fantasy season. Just 1 week in, several different ways to play this year. And we hope that the advice that we give you will be applicable for multiple different systems, as they all have little different nuances to themselves for how you wish to play and engage with MLS Fantasy. So if you like this, like and subscribe, hit the little bell notification button. We are live with you pretty much every Monday during the season, doing what we can to help spread the joy of fantasy and just have a good time while we're at it. So, all right, now that is all said and done. Like and share those tweets and blue skies and posts and everything. We will go ahead and get started. Hello and welcome to the MLS Fantasy Insider, our preview of Week 2 of the 2026 MLS Fantasy season. This episode is brought to you by post-match referee discussions, because sometimes it's okay. Oh, no, wait. Actually, brought to you by our amazing MLS Fantasy Insider Patreon supporters. It's because of you that we are able to keep this project going. Find out more about our Patreon project over at patreon.com/MLSFI. Quick update. I said this last week, but I had a few more questions. We have had to discontinue the Pro Rel leagues for this season due to the new kick-based content provider not really being compatible with our format. We're hopeful that we can get some larger league sizes next year. If not, we will be exploring other options for that. So that's the update. It is paused, not done for. I'm your host, Reid Connolly from MLSFantasyBoss.com, and tonight I'm joined by my special guest co-host, Tyler Ranchinator Norman. How you doing tonight, man?
I'm doing pretty good. How are you doing, Reid?
I am doing very well, thank you. So, like I said before the start of the show, I'm working. I got some feedback about the audio. It's stuff that we've been trying to work out for, or I've been trying to work out for quite some time. Various levels of success. Working on it again some this week. So please do let me know how that is. I will try to see the comments there, but go ahead and leave a comment with the video after this is here. So appreciate that feedback. Doing what I can. Okay, so we are here to talk about week 1 of MLS Fantasy. The week is in the books. It was pretty massive. So many goals in this first round. So, and some of them from some very unexpected players as well. So, like I said before the show started, like I posted on Discord before the show started earlier today, if you have any questions of things you'd like for us to talk about in this first part of the show, go ahead, fantasy related, put them into the chat. While Tyler and I just kind of kick off with some of the. This is not a full recap. We are not a full recap. I'm going to break down every MLS thing. We're trying to keep this focused on some of the fantasy elements that we want to talk about. So Tyler, what do you have that you want to share with the people for some of your takeaways from week 1?
Yeah, first off, I would I want to start off by a little bit of praise and a little bit of questioning what's going on. New York Red Bulls starting all the young guys and still coming out on top dominantly. Like a 2-1 win on the road to Orlando. I don't know about you, but I was counting New York Red Bulls out from the start. And to see them start three teenagers, mind you, Michael Bradley's in charge now, started three teenagers and they scored like it was almost like a convincing win, even though it was like a tight scoreline. And that's actually pretty impressive to me. Um, and then something else I noticed, specifically with the Kickbase app, goalkeepers that are getting a lot of action might be better than those that are getting clean sheets in this format. I've noticed that the ones that are getting a lot of saves or doing a lot of um just being involved a lot are actually scoring a lot more points than someone that just got a clean sheet. Like Andrew Thomas didn't get nearly as much as Crapo, for example. And Crapo lost. He's with Orlando now. So they lost 2-1, and he was the top scoring goalie on the week. That just goes to show maybe you want a goalkeeper, even though they might not be on the best team, they're getting a lot of action and they're a good goalie. And then lastly, I kind of want to bring up this conversation with you,
Me?
Reid.
Okay, it's like me or the community?
No, you
Me.
specifically.
Okay.
Sun versus Bouanga. Is
Okay.
it like a must-have for both? Do you prefer one? Do you prefer the other? What are you thinking about this?
So I think this is going to be one of those back and forth that we see throughout the season. If we're going through and looking at the numbers, I mean, Bawanga got goal and assist. That was fantastic there. Did better with a lot of the scores that we saw with fantasy, but Sun still a very respectable score, very active in the attack, and it feels like it could go both ways. We saw that near the end of the season. Um, I think we're gonna have to just let time tell. I dabbled with formations with both of them in
Yeah.
in the league. I did not go with ended up going with Sun, um, and not Bawanga, but I may be I will be revisiting that selection going forward. I don't think that we'll consistently have the double up though, because I think there are some, at least after round 1 week of data.
Yeah.
I think there have been some other forwards that are definitely on my radar that I want to keep an eye on. That I think just with good matchups, there's a few teams that are kind of making early contenders for who to target and bet against. That I think as they're circling around the league, will make other guys definitely viable. But depending on the platform that you're using, I mean, some of these platforms will let you run 4 forwards as a potential formation. So depending on the platform that you're using, that could definitely play into how many you end up having and if you are going to double up with them. I think so far running 3 forwards is definitely it for me. I don't want to give away my forward picks yet, so I'm not going to answer this question 100%. I will.
That's okay. We can go back to.
That's right.
We can go back to it.
I will get to that, but I think it's a very good emerging fantasy question of, is this a double? I don't think we're in double up territory, but I do think sort of like, I know you mentioned this a little bit in chat earlier today, but I think some like the conversations we would have of old with like the Houston team of like, oh my gosh, all 3 of these forwards are good, who do I want to go with? That these are 2 solid options that you'll have to weigh back and forth, some with the biggest difference being where they're playing on the field, mostly where they're lining up.
Yeah, and I think each of them has their own benefit. Like Son's much better in open play, and he's on the free kicks that are up close, like direct free kicks. Whereas Bouanga has corners, and he's the counterattack guy. So I think it really does come down to matchups for them. What are your takeaways for this week?
So I will say with the first takeaway that I have, in a shocking turn of events, it could be that this kick-based no rolling transfers lockout sort of thing may have helped some of us. Like, how many people would have started Messi with the rolling lockout when they saw that he was in the lineup? I know I had questioned if he was going to be there, and so I didn't have him at all in my team, and he started, and I was kind of like, oh my gosh, what's going to happen now? And then we see the 3-0 result for that game line, and so I'm just wondering, in this situation, very unique situation, did that end up saving some people? Because I saw other teams of people that had Messi, and he did not score well in the game.
Mm-hmm.
Sorry, my son just messaged something through the Google here. I don't know if anybody heard that or not. So that's a genuine question I have, which was an interesting little thing. If you are playing in Kickbase, I think the leagues that I have set up have had that $350 million budget. A lot of that is to try to ease the transition, but to try to simulate some of maybe on the higher end of a budget you might have with fantasy throughout the year. And so with Hope, it's making it easier to have starting players in your team that's there. So some of the other takeaways that I had after this first round, I got to say, Nashville out the door swinging. Did not expect to see that kind of result. Was a little curious to see how New England would fare, but that 4-1 result, amazing results from Mukhtar, from Sturridge, all of the kind of usual suspects that you expect to see right there in that game. Interesting, we didn't really see a lot from Espinoza as far as fantasy points go, but again, this is newly integrated into the team, but that's very strong for Nashville, especially going to maybe some decisions that people have to make with them being an away team coming up. Also was really impressed with Musa in that 3-2 Toronto win right there. I think it says 2 things. One, it's why Musa was on some of our radar this week. 2, I guess say 3 things. It says 3 things. 2, Toronto is still in a rebuild. That's still one of the teams that I'm thinking it's good to bet against. But 3, they got a couple of goals on Dallas, which was last year another team that we weren't really feeling very strong about as far as defense goes and having some opportunities for offensive production. So some of that is still maintained its momentum going into the season. As far as Kickbase goes, I know we're still trying to dig into how the game works. You had mentioned the goalies, that guys who are getting some more action are seeming to get some points. That tracks with the legacy game, how we would see like recoveries. A goalie that got recoveries was a way to set him atop. And so I'm not surprised there. I think we're seeing some of that in the field players as well. Just as an example, in this Dallas-Toronto game, Osorio was the 4th highest fantasy point earning player in that game. Even though Dallas got the win, even though there were multiple goals, like he was the 4th highest compared to other Dallas players as well. And so their system really does try to award players for doing other actions, which isn't new. It's what the legacy game did as well. It's one of the big reasons that we've always preferred MLS Fantasy versus EPL Fantasy as well with some of the scoring system. The points weren't always as robust as they were in the past with our scoring metrics, but that's something that we've always liked. It seems like some of that's here, and we're trying to break it down and see what's there. Other than that, I would say the biggest surprise that I had was the defensive brace with San Jose, with Mooney coming in there, couple of goals, seemingly out of nowhere in that game against Sporting Kansas City. Sporting Kansas City, 100% a team that's already on the list of target that team. And then it wouldn't be fine. I'll wrap this one up. It wouldn't be fair for me to talk about Nashville coming out the gate swinging without mentioning San Diego coming out 5-0 Montreal. Again, another team. Like, those are three teams right there: Toronto, Sporting Kansas City, Montreal, already on the list of kind of teams to target. Carryovers from last year. Colorado probably not far behind as well. But those are definitely some of the big takeaways. On the downside, I mean, we definitely saw Evander come up with a hamstring injury. Jordan Morris come up with a hamstring injury very shortly into this round. And so I know you'll have some other stuff to mention during that segment, so I won't steal your thunder. But some of that is there as well. We're seeing some, I don't know if this is already congestion with some of the games or just carryover from preseason or what's going on, but we're seeing some of this stuff, and it's not pleasant at all.
Yeah.
Going to go to chat real quick again. If you've got some questions, put them right here. Legitimate question from Ray. He says, will Messi play? He's never played Orlando Array. I didn't know that stat. I'm sure we mentioned it in chat before. And Tyler, do you have any insights into if you think Messi will play?
No clue. I would assume he would, but I don't know for sure.
I'm leaning towards yes, since I think he was questionable in this last round, and he did play, and I didn't really flag him as getting any kind of concerning injury after this game. So I don't see why he wouldn't play at Orlando unless there's just something else going on in the background that he would not cause him not to do that. So I don't have that answer. Fortunately, we do have a few more days to kind of get some insight on that since we're coming in on Monday with this podcast. But he's definitely someone that I'm not taking off of my list because of that right there. Let's see here. Red Bull scored was bad. Let's see here. Budgets. Just kind of looking through. Comment: 65 million too much for Messi. I'll take Son for 7 million less. I think Messi's down to 62 million now after not even cracking 3 digits in Kickbase. I know a lot of people talk about the points. It is kind of weird, but did not score well at all. I don't think he was even the highest scoring player for Miami during that game. No, so that's another interesting one right there. Going over to Discord real quick, checking out, looking for some other questions.
62.2.
Who are transfer targets for week 2? Yeah, I know people who are playing the SofaScore game. You do have the 5 transfers that you're dealing with here. I don't have a reference. I know in the past when we dealt with some of the transfer limits, we kind of had the chart that had a projected form and home away fixtures over a period of time. So we'll try to work in some general thoughts about that in our player targets section right there. But a question here, it's week 1, Tyler. Any early strategy bits that may be in your head that you're starting to think after this?
I kind of wanted to save this for later, but I'm actually wanting to look a little more into the different formations that are offered by at least Kickbase. I'm not sure about other apps out there, but like trying out a 4-forward setup, given how many forwards are viable in this in this game, seeing if I would rather look at 4 forwards and cut 2 mids than looking at 3 forwards and missing out on an opportunity to have an elite striker.
Yeah, I'll carry that forward for the other platforms as well. And that it wasn't too long ago that in the past it wouldn't be uncommon to see maybe some conservative approaches to the games at the beginning of the season, just with defenses and kind of low scoring games. But I mean, it was 30 something goals that we saw here with these teams, and a lot of them are just coming out firing. And some of the new guys were also on this list here. So I think playing some of those more aggressive formations is definitely a strategy that could come out. We saw some success on the road with goals, but still the home and away form. And I guess New York did win on the road, but we still saw that home form is still pretty dominant in MLS, statistically so, compared to the other American sports leagues and I think other leagues across the nation. So if you're looking for strategies as far as transfers, if you're someone who's used to dealing with just one or two transfers from playing Fantasy Premier League or systems that let you bank transfers as well, then you've got 5 for the SOFR score system here, and that's what I would focus on is look ahead. This is how I gonna go. Like it's been kind of an interesting couple of weeks, kind of thinking back. I know a few years ago we did a podcast series of like the history of MLS fantasy, and going back to early in that, you even get times when we had limited transfers in the game, and so I still think that same mentality carries forward into different platforms, and it's looking ahead at who's at home is definitely the number one thing to do. Try to get those guys on the home runs of form. Same thing that we used to do for those of us when we were playing EPL more exclusively as well. But look for those guys on the home runs of form, and try to get those guys who are generating the bonus points. Those have always been the main factors. I know the SOFA score system is pretty similar to, I think they had 30 something point, pretty similar to like I don't know how to refer to it anymore. So we've got the legacy game, but for people who have played longer, is this like, do I have to like bring in like Magic the Gathering terms here? Is this like pre-modern, like vintage? Is this what we're doing for the MLS game now?
We're in ultra modern era right now.
Yeah, no, this is MLS 4.0. So if we're looking back, if this is like MLS 2.0 era, I had to go back and look at my notes for how I did the article, but back in the day when we were doing some of that transfer system, like yeah, that's what I'd be looking for, is look at that home run of form, look at those bonus points for the system that you're using for how those are generated. Those guys that are generating more than just the goals and assists, those are the bread and butter type players that we're always looking for. So that's the kind of strategy I'd be looking at for a limited transfer system. It's not my favorite system. I think there are definitely pain points with it for MLS. 5 transfers, very, very generous. Especially since it is too, I was getting ready to go down a path. It is too early to identify like must have, never transfer guys in the season. Absolute. I refuse after week 1 to get into that conversation. So I don't know if anybody else is going to do that, but I refuse to get into that situation right there. Let me finish going through here. So that came from Steve. So I hope that helped answer your question, Steve, right there. Let's see here. Are there price changes on Kickbase? Yes, there are some price adjustments. Kickbase just finished adjusting its scores a few hours ago. I think it was earlier this evening that I think the final scores went out. They did a little update thing when you clicked on the app to kind of give you a rundown of how things were going. Apparently, the Opta team rewatches every game to confirm their scores with that. So there were some price changes. The only one I noticed, since the budget doesn't change, the only one I noticed was I saw the comment that someone said Messi was like 60, 67, 65, and I'm pretty sure he was 62.
62.2. And it looks like they go all the way down to the dollar when they redo it. Like, yeah. It's not just the 0.2, it's like he dropped 2,114,000 and it like just goes all the way down.
I did not get that into looking at that, but there are some point changes. Yes, does not impact your budget. So right there. Steve, with a couple more strategy topics. Looks like you can catch price rises on a Monday of the game week, waiting for some transfers until 1 hour before the first game, so you can see lineups. Seems like a good idea. So again, I'm not sure what platform you're looking at. It sounds like Sofa. If that's it, I'm pretty sure your budget doesn't change with that one either. So whenever the prices are hit, I've not looked into it to see when the price rises go into effect. But yeah, if you're able to find that time and identify the guys, I guess that's a little bit different than how, like back in the day when I'd set an alarm for 3 a.m. to get up to catch the EPL market. Like, yeah, catching those guys right before they rise is always going to be the best thing to do to maximize your budget. You're not banking anything, you're not earning anything, but yeah, that's absolutely, if you find that time, then 100% a good idea right there. Let's see here. There's the thing. Let's just scroll. Are we going to do weekly rankings this year? So if you mean players, I think we're going to try to do some stuff. I think Eli's going to try to do some stuff with us. With the multiple platforms, it's a little difficult to kind of do player rankings. Definitely open to it. If people have some thoughts of how they'd like to see it, I am open to hearing the feedback. Or, as I mentioned, I guess last week, if people have content they would like to provide, I'm happy to allow people. We have a guest poster process, a guest poster header for MLSFantasyBoss.com. If people have information they would like to provide, we will do some vetting of it. We got Wojo to be our editor-in-chief, and so he can help us look at this kind of stuff. And so if people have some content they would like to post, you're welcome to reach out to me on Discord, and we can see about getting some information up there. But yeah, we're looking into it, still trying to figure out what kind of content's going to be best for this year. But we've got the differentials, so no worries right there.
Yep. And we're covering most of the big ones. We have
I think you have all three, don't you?
Fantasy United, Sofa, and Kickbase. We just don't have the World Fantasies. I don't know what it is. World Fantasy Series or something like that.
Yeah, I'm not as familiar with that one either.
Yeah.
Let's see here. I believe I got a comment from Ray. He says on SofaScore, budget does rise with your players' prices. It's 1.1 as opposed to the 2.1 of FPL. Thanks for that, Ray. I was looking through the rules this earlier today, and I didn't notice that. So appreciate that clarification right there. I see some of it. Andrew Crawler, what? In chat? Another Legacy Fantasy voice right there. So, Andrew, welcome to the chat. So,
also, very surprising. I know you mentioned Messi went down. He actually went up 218,000. Yes.
That is okay. Well,
he was at 62 and went up to 62.2.
Okay.
He went up almost the same amount as Son.
Well, I will be sending that piece of feedback with a question right there because that makes zero sense. Welcome to Vibe pricing, I guess is what we have right here. Hashtag because Kickbase. So we'll go from there. First time that's been dropped.
Zinkernagel had a very small drop, even though he scored 36. He didn't even lose a full 100,000.
Let me just say, but why exactly? But why? I remember. So I've read through several of the rules. We know how Legacy did it. We know how I guess we don't know how Kickbase does it. And SofaScore has some of their information there. I have still yet to find a price change system that I have liked more than maybe 2 or 3 versions of Legacy Fantasy, Legacy MLS Fantasy, when it was basically your price changed based upon how your score differed from the average of other players in your position. I just loved that. It was straightforward. It was easy to understand, and it had a level of accountability to other people in your position. So if they did great, they said, I don't know. Maybe
that was 2019, right?
Something like, yeah, like 1920. It was several years ago, but I mean I just felt like that was just easy to understand, very straightforward and elegant in how it designed. I'm sure if you guys have got some more comments who want to dig into some of the statistics or some of the elements of it, please do. I would actually love to hear some more insights about it, but I just loved that system. I just loved it. The rolling 3 and 5 week average, which is what we went to after that system, was fine. We figured it out. It was an element to talk about when you were tactically trying to build your budget, but the average changes, I loved it. I loved it so much. So that's it. Slight soapbox, whatever, right there. Okay, those are some of the takeaways it's still early. We're going to get some more to go through here. We don't want to do too much knee-jerk reaction after 1 week of fantasy, but definitely happy to see some of the teams coming out strong, some of the players we wanted to. You have a weird look on your face, Tyler.
Kelvin Yeboah dropped in price even though he scored 155.
Does that make any sense?
I- and then there's people that scored like 70 and they went up.
All right. Well,
And he's already cheap. So I was like, that's why I was like that reaction. He's already cheap and went down with a good score, but someone who's more expensive went up with a worse score.
That's wild. That's wild. Well, the last thing I will say about Kickbase is Christian and I have been doing a lot of conversations trying to get some more information about the stats. It involves some reworking of the API, reworking of some of the app, trying to get that message conveyed. He's been working on getting something pushed out, kind of like MLS Fantasy cheat sheet like we used to have in the past. I've been trying to see if we can at least get some sort of consolidated grouping of the score. So the best you can do right now is go into a player's game week and you will see that whole running lineup. If you're doing Kickbase, SofaScore I'm sure is different. If you do that, you'll see the whole running lineup of what the player scored every minute. Okay. And that does not get converted into just the total scores from each of those categories after the round is over, which I was hoping it would, and it didn't. And so that's an asset I put in as well. So that's where we're at. That's where we're at. So we'll leave it at that. I know there are feelings and opinions, but that's where we're at with everything there. Those are some of the takeaways that we have. Thank you all for your questions. If you have any more, you can keep them coming to the podcast. We'll answer what we can. If not, you can hit us up on Twitter. You can hit us up on Discord. Always happy to answer questions as people have them about MLS Fantasy. So that's the first part of the show. We are going to continue on with some housekeeping and with some player targets that we have for week 2 coming up right after this. Okay, there we go. How is the audio, everybody? Are the levels better right now? I'm trying to talk louder, and I got the mic moved, as you can see. I got the keyboard further back, adjusted some of the mic mixer. Andrew's
Okay,
so quiet.
I need explanations. Ready?
4.
Alonso Martinez. You know he's out for the season.
Correct.
He went up almost 100,000.
This is bonkers.
Brandon Vasquez, also out for the season, dropped 0.5.
I mean, okay.
How do you gain and lose without playing?
Andrew, if you say we're too quiet, I'm just assuming you're on Mount Everest again. So that's what it is. I don't know. I don't know.
And then De La Vega went down. I almost want to ask if there's a way to get the price change model.
I don't know. I mean, you are welcome to ask for whatever you want. All right, let's see here. Got that out there. Got this out here. I know there was a comment on the post last week about my puppy needing to entertain people. She is right here. With hope we don't have the video problem again. I updated the computer. I made sure that Wi-Fi was reset. No, I'm not using Wi-Fi. It's the router and the connection. But I made sure the internet was reset. I restarted my computer before we even did the recording because I was working from home today and using it. So with hope, there will not be a problem. And I've probably cursed it with that. So, isn't it based on transfers in and out? I don't know, Black and Red. So I know in the German Bundesliga version of Kickbase that they do have a transfer algorithm. I made an assumption that MLS would not use that since it doesn't incorporate that transfer system, that same kind of like bidding and everything. It doesn't have that as a function, but that was an assumption, so it very well could still have that as an underlying element of transfers in and transfers out, which I don't hate, but I do find annoying. it's more annoying. It was more annoying when we were purposefully using scrubs to activate switcheroos and things like that, because it's like I felt like I was being kind of penalized a little bit just for trying to find a scrub. But maybe that's a good question right there. It's definitely something that makes you go, what, whenever you see it. So oh yeah, it could be very complicated, and it may even be proprietary. I mean, that it could be proprietary as well, so we don't know. They've been very open about sharing the API and talking through the stats part, though, so pleased about that.
I just sent a message asking them.
I was gonna say you can do it. I don't know if that's too much.
That was mind-boggling to me.
Can't hurt to ask. Okay,
You saw my reaction when
I did. We had to stop the show and get that. Okay, social is out for part 2 of the show. Let's see here. We're making some good time, so we are going to go ahead and continue on. Hello and welcome back. We're talking week 2 of the 2026 MLS Fantasy season, starting with a very quick housekeeping section. This is important for those of you who are playing Kickbase. The app is wrong. If and maybe it's my version or whatever, but the app is wrong. When I go into the app and look at match week 2, so 1 wrong, it says day. I would say week. That seems strange. But match week 2, it says that there are 4 games on Saturday. And then it says that there are a whole bunch of games on Sunday, and then that there are some games on March 2nd. That is wrong. Do not base the games on the app. That is wrong. I think
it's based on German time or something like that. I don't think it's a universal time.
It is wrong. If you go into the app, it is wrong. That is all I'm going to say. Regardless of what time, you're going to send me down a rant, Tyler. It is just wrong. So, what you need to know, if you live in America and you are, sorry, what you need to know, that's too harsh. That is too harsh. What you need to know, if you are following Major League Soccer and you are trying to best understand what the schedule is going to be this coming week 2, match week 2, everything starts off on February 28th at 2:30 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Maybe it's daylight. I don't know. I got yelled at about that last year, but Eastern Time. It starts at 2:30 p.m. Eastern Time, with Chicago hosting Montreal and New York Red Bulls hosting New England. Those both kick off at 2:30. Usual Apple TV lineup after that: 4:30, 7:30, 8:30, 9:30, 10:30. That is all on February 28th, Eastern Time. That's what you got. Then on Sunday, March 1st, we have 4 games that start at 2:30 with Austin versus DC United, and those 2:30, 4:30, 7, and 9:15. So a little bit of variety there. If you're looking at those games for SofaScore, I definitely know you have the rolling lockout, so keep an eye on those times. They're a little odd, that 9:15 one thrown in there. But those are on Sunday, so 2 days, and most of the games are on Saturday. So just want to make that clear if anyone is looking at the app and gets a little confused, as I did when I was looking through this and going, wait, what is going on? That's strange. So that is the score. Tyler, do you have any injury updates you want to share?
Yeah, just a few. You touched on Evander being out and Jordan Morris being out. I don't know if do you have an update on Evander or not yet?
I don't have an update on Evander. It was called hamstring tightness during the game. So it's definitely a precautionary thing. I've not seen, haven't got a chance to check a lot of the social today, but I've not seen anything else about that. But he's definitely not a target for me until I get something more secure.
Jordan Morris, the update was it was a thigh injury. Unsure on a timeline was that update. Hassani Dotson also got subbed out with a concussion, so he needs to go through protocol before he can play. I'm not sure what it was, but Dylan Shambos for Columbus subbed out really early, so I assume an injury. And then Cartagena for Orlando also subbed out with an injury. There were 2 red cards this week. Should have been more, but there were 2 red cards. Aviles, who used to play with Miami, but now he's playing with Montreal, he got a red card. And then Alado, I think that's how you say his name, for Philly, rumors are he spit at the referee or a player, which is how he got his red card. So there could be added games if that's the case.
Oh,
So
is
keep an
that
eye
what?
on that.
Okay, okay.
Yeah, it wasn't mouthing off. Someone zoomed in and it looks like he was spitting at them.
Okay, okay.
Yeah,
There we go.
yeah.
And then I don't know if anyone is wondering or not, but I saw Weeby weigh in on Messi with him going into the referee area after the game, as we teased the show with, and he was splitting hairs. And maybe this is out on social more. I just saw Weeby and was like, okay. He was splitting hairs, saying he went into the hallway that leads to the referee's locker room, not
That's a gray
the
area.
referee's locker room. They are different hallways, apparently, though, from where the players would go, but it was the hallway and not the actual locker room. So take that as you will. Fantasy show. Fantasy show.
To be
Fantasy
fair,
show.
they already weighed in and said he's not getting a suspension.
That is true. He is available, but we will see. Maybe back to the question we had. Maybe he was trying to have a reason not to go to Orlando. Maybe there's something to that question. Let's find out. For anything else, please do head over to MLS Fantasy Boss Discord channel. It's fun. It's free. We have all kinds of channels where you can engage with the fantasy platform that you want. We have the new Match Day Live channel as well, so that there is a focus place for MLS discussion, fantasy game discussion, and match day discussion, so that you can just make sure you are getting the content that you want. So head on over there, mlsfantasyboss.com/discord, and don't forget to check out the mega reference and the general fantasy tools section that we have with a lot of great info right there. So Tyler, players, who are you talking about? This is going to be the general take that we have on players going into week 2, and then we're going to end everything with talking about the Kickbase week week 2 rush challenge. So who are you looking at? Keepers and defenders. Chat, also same question to you guys.
Yeah, this is I'm trying to like change my thought process on keepers because
Okay.
I've always been in that clean sheet mindset. So now I'm trying to have a mix of clean sheet and who might get a decent amount of action. Currently I'm either between Crapo or Horvath. Horvath is the new Red Bulls goalie.
Okay. Okay.
I think he actually might get a decent amount, and you get to see if he gets a start, which he should. But he should also get a decent amount of attack against him with heel coming into the attack. And then Crapo definitely is going to get a lot of attention with it being Miami. It's a risk versus reward. He might get a lot of action, or he might have a bad game. You'd never know. And if they have a bad game and get scored on a lot, you just got negative points instead of a goalie who might have been scored on a few times, but they played really well. And then my kind of backup option, if I want to be a little more safe, is probably Andrew Thomas there. For defenders this week, I actually really like Shea, who also plays for the Red Bulls. He's their center back. He had a very good game this last game and got a yellow card, even though even on a yellow, he still had towards the top in points for defenders. I really like Mooney this week, and it feels so weird to talk positively about San Jose. But Mooney's getting into the attack. He's scoring goals. So I like him this week. I also really like Chris McVeigh. However, he's playing against the St. Louis side who also looks strong. I think that matchup in and of itself is going to be a fun matchup to watch, like on Apple TV. And I want skin in the game. It's just which type of skin in the game do I want?
Sure.
And then my other defenders that I'm looking at, I feel like Yamar is kind of a lock for me. He's a good player. I got a homer a little bit. And then I've kind of thought about Ricketts for another San Jose guy. That would be crazy. 2 San Jose guys. But I've thought about him, seeing if it might be something I might entertain this week. What are your takeaways?
Yeah, I think all those make sense. That is definitely a good approach to it as we're trying to see what happens. So if you are playing Kickbase, you can see right now top 5 keepers from right now based on points: Crepeau, Kalina, Horvath, Celentano, and Freese. No, sorry, not Freese. Furry.
Yeah. Furry?
I had not.
I don't know.
So no, I'll be honest with you. I am trying to be a better person. I'm trying to grow, and I have Tyler he is my witness. I have some pronunciations in my list right here. This was not one I prepped. This was not one I prepped.
It's probably furry.
Well, it is
not a furry, but furry.
Yeah. We're gonna go with what you're saying. I'm gonna blame it on you. So those are the top those are the top point scoring keepers. And Crepeau did get 275 points. I mean, he has almost 100 more points than any other goalkeeper after week 1. Right
and
there.
Mind you, he was scored on twice.
And he was scored on twice. And so you've got a fair thought process there for what you were doing. I am still trying to figure out the system, and so I'm still leaning a bit into sort of traditional ways of thinking. Thomas is on my list. I definitely had that. I like the Seattle matchup. I think there's a good chance some clean sheets or some good points right there. I still have Takaoka on my list as well. Nashville, San Diego are 2 teams that I would definitely consider. I think the Crepeau one might be. I don't know. That just seems too risky for me on the road. There's that history with Orlando. I mean, this is the
they're home, but yeah.
It's. Do I thought he was on the?
They're hosting.
Oh no, that's right. No, you're right. He's traveling there. So Miami, after losing, coming here, in-state rival. I don't know. I just worry about that. And Messi still got a lot of shots. I mean, I think he still had like 5 shots, or I don't know if they were all attempts or if they were all on goal, but he still had opportunities during during that game. So I mean, I'm not. I don't know. That one I think is a little bit too much. I know Kalina's on here. I think LA Galaxy has got some more bite to them, so I'm not sure about that. They did have. I did see part of that game with that 1-1 draw right there. So. Maybe that's kind of a distant option right there. I don't know about Celentano. Definitely happy to get the clean sheet there. Atlanta had more to them than they definitely did last year. Having that Evander hit's pretty bad right there. But so, I like where you're coming from there. With I think that Horvath is a nice under the radar one. I think that Thomas is one, and then for me, I'm looking at Takaoka as well.
So if we're kind of expanding and looking at all leagues and like clean sheet opportunities, what do you think are the best teams for that? For me, I'm leaning like NYC maybe, and then Seattle, and honestly maybe San Jose this week again.
If I'm looking at clean sheet, New York City proper, against
like NYCFC on the road.
Against Philly. Okay, I don't know. You know how I feel about road right there. So for me, I would probably say my top clean sheet chances I would give to Vancouver. Not too high on Toronto right now, so I think Vancouver's still got a good chance right there. I would again. I'm going to be on the road. I think Seattle's got a shot on the road against RSL. I think that I could go with Horvath as well right there.
Yeah.
I don't like a lot of the matchups. I know what you're saying with San Jose, and I could definitely see Mooney on the list there. I mean, they had opportunities. I think they've got some more in the tank. I think Atlanta will get a score.
Yeah. And they got Tata now,
In
so
San Jose, yeah, there was definitely a different team. I'm super intrigued by this Chicago Montreal game,
mhm.
because Montreal seems to still be bad.
Yeah.
And I think Chicago's got some offensive ability right there. Not They did a little bit better with defense. I know they've got Gutman and some people as well. So I mean that could be maybe a distant fourth potential option as a stealth clean sheet, I guess, right there. But
Yeah.
that's kind of what I'd be looking at right there. My defensive targets kind of mirror that as well, in that same sort of mindset. I mean, Mooney had the goals. McVay had a goal last week. He was also one of the highest point defenders from the kick base last year when they converted the stats, and so he's just a solid overall pick as well. I think he's well worth targeting. I found interesting that Yamar had more points than Reagan, and he's cheaper with that.
He had a better game, and I think that Seattle defenders, especially the center backs, is who is the one that's dominating the game that game.
That's fair. No, that's fair. Okay, but I mean, those are still the teams that I'm targeting. I mean, going to chat, Arfston. Yeah, I see. Megan's mentioned Arfston. Ike. So Heinz Ike. I thought about Heinz Ike as well. Some of that is betting against DC. But yeah, he was high. So I did this for keepers. Let's go ahead and look at it again. So again, just looking kind of at Kickbase. Heinz Ike was the number 5 scoring defender last week. Right there. Mooney was first, McVay was second, and Nick Hagland was third. Nick Hagland's not going to always get goals, so I mean that's definitely a blip, and it's going to fall down after that. And Dugan was fourth, so those are your top 5 right there for keeper. So yeah, Heinz Ike is I think you could throw him on there and see at home to DC. That's probably one of the better matchups that Austin will have right now. So yeah, I think that's a good call out, Meg. All right, let's move on. Love these midfielder and forward options, these offensive options. Let's move on to midfielders. Tyler, who are you looking at?
I am. It's gonna sound weird, but I actually like Berhalter over Mueller. Currently, maybe it's just because Mueller didn't get any goal contributions directly, but just kind of looking at it, Berhalter was also on set pieces, and that in and of itself makes me want to lean towards a player more. Just being on sets gives you so much more opportunity. And Berhalter didn't have a goal or assist either, and he's still got 175 in the kick base. I'm not sure how he did in Sofa, but I would assume based on how he was playing, he probably did score the same or a little bit more than Mueller. I really like Rusnak this week. He already opened his goal scoring. Playing against RSL feels like kind of like a gimme week. Hartel had an amazing game.
He did.
Loved watching him play, and I think even though he's playing against a tough San Diego team, I do think he still has the ability to put up points, even if he doesn't get a goal or an assist. And kind of in that same note, someone like Tverskov in that same game, he has to be the holding mid that's taking control of Hartel. So having both in that matchup would be pretty fun to kind of identify how are they going to challenge each other. The other player I really like this week is actually Ojeda for Orlando.
Yeah.
Especially if the rumors about Messi not playing are true. I most definitely want Ojeda. Not that we can see that beforehand.
Sure.
But Ojeda likes to control the game, and if Messi's not there, Orlando's going to be the one that's controlling a little bit more than Miami. And I don't know if anybody watched the games, but or the LAFC and Miami game, but LAFC actually had a lot more control for a while there and for what I think it is it's because Busquets isn't really there, and you don't have the off the ball runs of Alba. But then as the game went longer, Miami started to gain control a little bit more. What are your mid options?
So we've got some overlap as well. Those are some good other options, though. I mean, yeah, I had Tverskov on the list. I was just, I think this is a week where after that first game, whatever the maximum players are you can get for San Diego, you get them. That's what you do, and I think that Tverskov is one to go with. I like Mukhtar. They came out strong. They are playing against a Dallas team that allowed 2 goals from Toronto, who I already said I don't rate very high. And so I think this is a road team that I like this week. I don't know if this is a 1 or 2 player team because of that matchup. Still kind of early in the season for me to jump in all on that. But I think Mukhtar is definitely worth the consideration. I too like Berhalter over Mukhtar, or sorry, Berhalter over Mueller. Has a point value there as well. I thought it was interesting. Again, I did not watch the game, so I was waiting for you to help expand on some of this. Rothrock had more points than Rusnak, but I would tend to still favor Rusnak.
Rothrock had an amazing game. As soon as he subbed in, like 5 minutes in, had what is up there with the assist of the week.
Mm-hmm.
Chased down a ball that was going out, stopped it right before it went over the line, hit the boards because he was going so fast, and then came back in and delivered a picture-perfect pass to Rusnak, who headed it in. And then also Rothrock scored a goal. So he got an assist and a goal, but he was also all over the field. Had an amazing game.
So what do you expect from him going forward?
With Morris going down injured, I do think Rothrock will be our starter. And I still think Rusnak will be the one that gets more points most games, but just knowing Rothrock, I mean, they might have Messi, but we have Rothrock, you know? Like he's a great player. And if he's feeling it, you better watch out. Specifically for teams that leak on the wings. He's gonna absolutely dominate you if you're weak on the wing.
So that's great. That's feedback there. I mean, I've got Forsberg on my list. I think he's kind of worth considering with some of what's going on with New York. But I think above him, I was also impressed with Biel. I think if we're going to talk about Hartel, we can talk about Biel in kind of that same vein. Mm-hmm. They both had the goals in their matchup. They've both been just so influential to their team. They're both on the road this week. I think he's probably battling for your 5th spot. Then there's also DePaul. I mean, we're talking about this big Orlando derby that we have right here. He had okay points even in the loss. He was still the best scoring midfielder there. So I think he could be another fringe, maybe 4th or 5th midfielder that you're looking at. For me, I'm trying to max. I've chosen the formation with 3 forwards and 4 midfielders. So I'm trying to really max that attacking option there. And so far, after just one game, I'm feeling good about some of the forward options that I'm willing to do 3-4 instead of like a 2-5 in a formation like that. So so a lot of the usual names there. I don't know if we need to start looking a little bit deeper into some of the reserves. I mean, if you go through the list here, I mean, Tverskov, Rothrock, Hartel, top 3. Jackson from Vancouver was number 4. Mukhtar was number 5. Cole Bassett was number 6 right there in their match there. Not super surprised. I mean, I'm not surprised that Bassett's getting some good production. He was pretty high on the list as well. Berhalter's there in the top 10 as well. Forsberg's not far behind him. And then as we know from last year, McGlynn's probably is in that top 20 of some players with their production. So these are lots of guys that, I mean, now McGlynn could be an interesting one right there. Houston got a couple of goals. If they weren't going against LAFC, I'd be much more interested in this Houston game.
Yeah, I agree with you there.
That keep an eye on Houston. That's all I'm going to say is I think after, again, one game, but I made a couple of notes. Like there's a couple of players I want to keep an eye on, see how things go. maybe 3-4 weeks into the season and just kind of see how interested I still am in Houston. But I'm peaked. My interest is peaked right now.
What about Giddy as the holding mid with 150 points, no goal or assist?
That was solid. I mean, that was something with Kickbase that we were told was that their system did help some of these defensive midfielder players right there. I think we're seeing some of that. I don't know enough to know what separates the Giddy from the Osorio or those kind of players for what's going to stand out to really identify some of that right there, right now. But it is nice to see some different names in the rankings as part of the conversation for what you might have. So more to come from there. Go to chat real quick before we move on. Let's see here. Yep, Ojeda, won the league. Forsberg. Yeah, I think Forsberg's worth that discussion. Tversky had so many points related to forward and final third passes. Bassett added a lot into the attack, in my opinion. I agree. I mean, Bassett was one of the bright stars at Colorado, and every now and then was someone that we debated having into your fantasy team as like that switcheroo spot or just like on the bench. So not surprised that he has some fantasy value here. All right, let's move on to forwards. Who are you looking at?
So kind of what I hinted at earlier in the week, or earlier in the episode, I'm actually kind of considering a 4-2-4 lineup this week, which makes mids going to be very difficult for me. However, there are 4 forwards that I actually really like this week. Dreyer feels like a gimme, should be on your team regardless. I'm really liking Sam Surge this week. He had an amazing game at this past one, and I kind of looked at a few of the preseason games. Looks great in preseason as well. And if he, Christian, Espinoza, and Mukhtar are all connecting, that's like maybe one of the deadliest trios out there right now. And then I've kind of talked about Sun versus Bawanga. I'll go back there in a little bit. But before that, I noticed, because I was watching the NYCFC game, Nico Fernandez takes set pieces. So he takes free kicks, corner kicks, and he's the one that's involved mostly in the attack, and he's on PKs. Like, that guy's an all-around guy. So I've thought, why not have a Nikau on my team? He could very well play to a point where he's getting points up there that are contesting with the likes of Dreyer or Sun or Surridge. I don't think he would contend with Messi, but and then I like Messi. I want to go against him. I'm like Blaine. I think Blaine was like this, where he was like no Messi or something like that, right? Oh no, it was no Carlos Vela. Is that what it was?
Blaine was never so many people. We love Blaine.
But I'm almost feeling no Messi again this week, so I'm kind of on the Sun versus Bawanga debate on seeing which of the two I want. Right now, I'm kind of leaning towards Bawanga given the set pieces, but I can't go wrong with Sun. Both of them are right. I don't see a wrong in either of them. I just need to play gut feeling on that one when the day comes.
Gut feeling. I just made a big post on Discord about why we like stats, and you come at me with gut feeling. That's fine. That's fine.
You know how I play, though. I always am a gut feeling guy.
That's fine.
I feel like I shouldn't captain Vela this week. Maybe I'll captain this guy. Vela gets the top scorer.
So similar names. For me, I think I end up going with Bawanga. I thought about that, and I feel like Sun becomes that target so often. You can't really have both. Bawanga's on the wing. He's making the runs. So I'm leaning towards Bawanga. for this week. And that's what I've got. Otherwise, I've also have I like Surridge. I like Dryer. I have Messi on my team right now, so I've got him in the lineup. I feel like he's going to start. A lot of that was driven by he got 98 points in Kickbase. I think he got like 4 in Sofa Score. Let me see if I can load up someone's team real quick that they posted. But that's driven by the number of shots that he had, like those quality shots. And so that's what I see is like he still has that value. He still has that chance to get that. Maybe it was on Twitter that people shared that. But I still feel like he has those opportunities that those didn't go away. They didn't fall, and so he didn't get the benefit of that, which you shouldn't. So he didn't get that production. But Messi got 4 in Sofa Score. So, but he had the opportunities, and so that's what I'm kind of banking on for the Orlando game. Should he be there, I will be keeping an eye on that, because if I don't have him, then I'm going to definitely want to look at somebody else, because I can't do anything about it. That's going to be there. I am not looking at 4 forwards, because I still think I just don't want to cut down to 2 mids. I would rather minimize the defenders. I don't want to cut down on my mids.
That's fair.
But so I've got those guys right there. Musa, I think, had a fantastic game. I think that's definitely worth mentioning when we're talking about forwards right there. Then I'd mentioned talking about Houston before. Another one of the Houston players I'm keeping an eye on is Guilherme over there with Houston. So he got, I believe, a brace in this last round, and so I want to keep an eye on him. I know Hall got some points for the Red Bulls. I believe he was one of the 17-year-olds who started. So keeping an eye on the consistency, what's going to happen there before really jumping into everything. Rossi was back on the score chart. I know that Gene is in chat right now, and he mentioned looking at Gene. Where'd your chat go? He mentioned looking at Abu Ali, who was also there with Columbus, I believe, as an option, but it was Rossi who got the goal. And then we're talking about I said San Diego. It's Dryer. It's not Ingvarsson. So I think that's where your target is. That's where he's lining up.
Ingvarsson got a good score though.
He did get a good score. Dryer's was better.
I agree.
And I think he's still that focal point right there. And then Nico, I think you had mentioned him. Nico was right there as well.
Yeah.
205 with the score right there. So,
yeah.
I mean, a lot of great. Ty Baribo got a goal. Dinke got a goal. I think that's the one that's not going to. He also had a big chance flubbed as well. Man, that game drove me nuts. Drove me nuts, I tell you, man. But yeah, so the forwards options I think are a little bit. I think you definitely have options there. I think it's a little bit more straightforward with the forwards. I like a lot of the midfield right there, and so I'm just loving these attacking options right now going in. But I think that covers a good amount of people who would be in the running for who you want to go with. All right, let's wrap up the general picks before we hit up the rush week 2 with captain targets. Who are you looking at? Yeah, Gene. Yes, Ollie had a goal and assist. Like I'm not.
And a yellow card.
And a yellow card. Yes. Yes. So yes, Ali, he is definitely in the running right there. What Columbus is on the road though, correct? I believe for this game. Yeah, they're on the road. Oh, on the road to Sporting Kansas City. So I got a little bit of a chip with Columbus. I'm sorry. Road Sporting Kansas City versus what we would think with Dryer, what we would have with Messi, what we would have with Bouanga. I mean, that's what I'm looking at as like the top 3. Like a Bouanga son, Messi, and Dryer as a top 3. If you drop Messi, I think Surridge is pushing in there. Do you want Surridge over a Rossi or Ali against Sporting Kansas City, Tyler?
I personally do.
Okay,
I
get
Surridge over them.
I get it. So that's a good call, Gene. I think that's for me how that conversation flushes out is if any of those three guys that I mentioned aren't in your top three, and you're looking at who your fourth forward is, I could definitely see Columbus players in that mix. But I think you also have to have Surge. I know someone mentioned Kuipers as well. I could see that mentality as well in there.
I could see Kuipers having
yeah,
a great game.
yeah, against that Montreal team. So very, very viable there too. I know we threw a lot of names out, but that's the point. Multiple fantasy formats that people are playing. We just want to cover players and let you kind of make that final connection. Which, like, if you like the Montreal lineup, Kuiper's 100%. I mean, he's been a great goal scorer the past couple of years. That is absolutely a game where he could tear up at home. So, options right there. But now let's talk about captains. Who do you like?
Honestly, this might be a little bit of a harder week for me on captain. There's a lot of reasonable names that you could captain this week. You could captain Dreyer, you could captain Surridge, you could captain Mukhtar, you could captain Son or Bawanga, Messi. I don't think anything is wrong this week. Me personally, I'm leaning towards Surge this week.
Oh, road captain.
Yep.
Road captain. Gene's going with Son, another road captain right there. I could get on the bandwagon for that. I have it on Dyer right now. Not Dyer. I have it on. Who do I have it on? Did I have it on Dyer?
I think Tverskov is also a good captain this week.
He is. I mean, the Dreyer. Yeah, I have it on Dreyer right now because there is that question about Messi. But I think I am not writing Messi off for the captain either. For that, again, pissed after the first game. I don't like the road though. He did have the good amount of shots. Question about injury and minutes. So we will see. But right now it is on Dreyer.
I'm gonna make a wild statement right now.
Do it. Do it.
I think if you're playing Kickbase, this season could be one of those seasons where it might be the right choice to captain a goalie at some point.
Oh.
Yeah. If they can score points like Crepeau just did,
I don't know.
that's like better than a forward or better than a mid. Yeah, you got to be very, very, very bold, but it's you have a higher chance than the OG fantasy game.
I'm looking. Okay, so he was the fourth highest scoring player. Got Bawanga above him and two defenders. So who got goals? So
if he
Zaha, who's captaining Zaha? You are a mad loon. You have thrown out something very interesting, and oh, thank you, Black and Red, about my post.
But even like Kalina also did pretty good. I know he wasn't like top, but just shy of 200. That's still a solid.
I get it. Okay, no, that's one. Put a pin in it. We will track that and see what happens, because that's an interesting idea. So okay, all right. Those are the captains. Not much difference from chat right there. We're gonna wrap everything up with the week 2 rush challenge. I know people have mixed opinions, but I still really like these weekly challenges coming through rush with kind of the different approaches. This week is you have a $350 million budget, 11 players, but you are limited to 2 players max per team right here. And so I think that one's interesting right there. I don't think this one's as crazy as we had before. I'm approaching this in a very similar way. How did that happen? Oh, the price has changed. I am approaching this from a very similar way as I approach my main team. I like a lot of the same players here. I don't think the only team I have more than 3 players from is San Diego. So that's the
You
only
can't. Oh, for the main game, yeah.
correct from the main game. If you're playing in one of the fantasy boss leagues, 350 million, 3 players per team is what I've done for everything.
Yep.
For the week 2 rush, it's the same rules except 2 players max per team, and so I still like my same kind of team setup that I have. Same players that we mentioned, I think, still apply. For me, I'm currently running 3 San Diego players, and what I would do is I would just swap McVay. I think I would lean into the offensive players, go back to McVay. I like probably the Red Bull pick that you're mentioning right there. I may end up swapping some of that for that team, but
Yeah.
I think I like that Red Bull pick.
I'm kind of in the same boat. I actually switched to a 3-4-3 for the rush week 2, and I have Shea as my third defender instead of McVay. Otherwise, it's pretty close to the same.
Yep. There we go. Yeah, I like these rushes. The first one I thought was fun. 6 players, only 1 player. That was cool. This one, a little generic. This one's a little generic. Just 2 players instead.
They did say the first 2 to 3 weeks will be kind of just getting you warmed up, and then they said they're gonna start doing some crazy things.
Yeah, we'll see. I'm looking forward to that. This is fun. Like, this has so far been the most fun thing for me is the little things there. So, all right. Well, that's all that we have for the show tonight. Thank you so much, everyone, for joining us. I hope the volume and the sound was better. We know the picture was better this time, and I hope there wasn't as much clicky with the keyboard. Please do leave your comments and below. Let us know what you want to hear. Let us know how you want to interact. Hit us up on Discord as well. We'd love to hear that. Let's wrap up everything that got cut off last week with the plugs. Tyler.
I guess I'll go back to my plugs that I was gonna do.
Yes, please.
First off, massive shout out to Shandio for stepping up to help out with the differentials with Sofa score differentials. I really wanted to just start by giving a shout out to my team. So Shandio and Meg and Matt. And then my other shout out that I wanted to do is to Ashley. I wanted to just say that even though she's not here right now with us, wishing her the best right now and looking forward to seeing her on the podcast in the future.
I hope that keyboard didn't come through. No, that's great. Yeah, I have to touch base with her and see when she officially comes back and give Tyler a little bit of a break. I of course want to thank everyone who's been contributing their feedback. We do read a lot of it, not all of it, but we do read a lot of it. I know people are very passionate about the game, and I love that so much about that. Christian asked me a question earlier today, and he said, do you ever just kind of stop and like take a step back and just like ask yourself, like, is this all just silly? And I told him no. Like, I totally get that, how people could see that or people would feel that. But when I take a step and think back, I just think of the evolution of this community and all the people that I've met and all the connections that we made and all just the good times that we have. And I'm thankful for that. I'm happy that you all are able to interact with us in the same way and that we can all have fun. And I hope that's what we keep having. So to help accomplish that, MLSFantasyBoss.com, particularly the MLS Fantasy Boss Discord, the best fantasy community online, period, stop, end of discussion. So head out there, MLSFantasyBoss.com/Discord, engage in the chat. Some of the top players of the game are there, and just good soccer people are there. It's a good place to come and talk. So I hope to see you all there. Hope to see you all in the game. And as always, good luck.
Recording stopped.